Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar, From Inquiry to Enrollment, Comprehensive Higher Ed Solutions. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ann Olson, and I've served the higher ed market for nearly 20 years. Early in my career, I worked with colleges and universities across the U.S. to assist them with their research, brand, and admissions recruitment efforts. 7 years ago, I founded Converge, the digital agency for education. Over those 7 years, we have worked with amazing clients in order to help them with the recruitment of key students through data-driven segmentation and personas, strategy, marketing alignment, and getting those students to raise their hands and opt into the recruitment process. In the past year, we've become keenly aware that our clients need a larger solution set in order to be successful with those efforts. Ruffalo Noel Levitz was indeed in need of sophisticated digital to layer on top of current fundraising and enrollment solutions. Hence, we came together in a perfect storm to address both needs. I'm super excited to share more with you today. I would also like to introduce my two guest presenters. Hayley Warack serves as the VP of Digital for Converge and has been the primary point for product development and agency relationships for Converge over the past 5 years. Her commitment to the marketplace and work with our educational partners at Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn has driven our new and next efforts. Hayley has worked on the growth of our team from just 2 individuals when she started to over 50 plus in several offices across the country. Outside of products and relationships, Hayley is also responsible for the development of strategy for digital clients and sets the bar for expectations of excellence across the firm. In her new role with RNL, Hayley will be assisting the RNL team with bringing digital to life across the 1,000 plus clients that RNL and Converge will work with. A final introduction and total pleasure for me to introduce Dawn Hiles. Dawn is the SVP of Enrollment Management at RNL. Dawn began her early career in higher ed as a VP of Enrollment and Dean of Admissions at a small private university. She's had tremendous success in her career, and after 6 years in the higher ed space, made the leap to the dark side of consulting. At RNL, Dawn is responsible for all current client strategies, retention, and growth of programs. Her significant knowledge base on both sides of the tables makes her just a tremendous partner. Dawn also was selected to participate in the ACE Fellows program and has won many awards related to her achievements. Dawn and Hayley, thank you so much for joining me today. So what does our agenda look like? In our webinar today, we're going to quickly move through some of our most frequently asked questions relating to the acquisition. And it became official on April 24th that Converge would be acquired by RNL. Many questions relating to how our business would change and what that would mean to current clients have been discussed. Today, we're here to answer both those questions, as well as why we chose to move to an official acquisition with RNL, what you should know about RNL and the work they do, the type of work that RNL does across the funnel, especially with data-driven enrollment planning and lead nurturing and nurturing strategies, as well as measurement of impact and outcomes. We would love to answer any questions upon conclusion of these topics. When the news was released, we had tried to reach out to as many clients as possible to let them know what was happening and to hear it from us first. Despite those efforts, we reached out to many, but not everyone received the message. Through press coverage, client emails, and overall phone calls and communications, we received many congratulatory messages that were super positive. Our friend and client at Northwest Nazarene sent the nicest note. I asked Mark if we could use this quote because it summed up my feelings along with RNL on this great day. I would like to read it to you because I think it captures the spirit of what we're trying to do as a combined company. For the past several years, we've partnered with Converge for their best-in-class digital marketing expertise. At the same time, we've enjoyed a great relationship with RNL, partnering in numerous areas. We are thrilled with the news that they've now joined forces to become even more effective in the higher ed space. Combining 2 industry leaders like these goes beyond taking things to the next level, creating a new ecosystem of higher ed solutions. It's a great day in marketing. Mark, thank you so much for your partnership and for sharing that with us. So let's get into the fun part. So let's talk about RNL and Converge and how this acquisition and merger will change things. As far as FAQs, the biggest question our clients and friends have had is why? Why would you merge with a large and historic higher ed company when you are a nimble digital young agency that's focused on new and next? The answer to that is driven completely by our clients' needs. Over the past 7 years, we have seen clients generate dozens of incredible inquiries through their inbound marketing efforts, including paid digital, organic search, SEO, and content strategy. Where they seem to struggle most was taking those highly qualified inquiries and delivering a class of well-groomed matriculated students. Much of this wasn't due to lack of effort or strategy, it was resources. Resources to build comm flows, resources to build out those comm flows in the CRM, someone to review and understand and track the data, and people to make phone calls and to engage with highly qualified leads and nurture them through the funnel. Prior to April, in our official partnership with RNL, we didn't offer that full funnel solution. I'm delighted to say that as of today, we can offer all services that take a prospect from an inquiry through yield and help to deliver a full class. It is a great day in higher ed. The acquisition and additive buy, where both RNL will be added to by the sophistication of Converge's digital efforts. The acquisition will also add to Converge by enhanced products and services, process, QA, resources, and overall product development. We're very excited about this. So to talk about a few of the bigger enrollment solutions that are past the point of inquiry, there are 4 key points. Scalable offering. We feel with the acquisition that leading expertise, extensive experience, and a continued focus on serving the higher ed industry with our combined services allows us to scale personalized communications through lead nurturing across programs and past inquiry. Deeper experience. With 1,000+ combined clients, the addition of an entire enrollment services team, complete with planners, enrollment specialists, we can speak to best practices at a much deeper level for our clients, and by programs to best serve our clients. Added proof points. Through real-time metrics and options for full funnel reporting, our proof points are stronger and help clients to see true ROI. RNL has data past the point of inquiry to help us understand conversion rates across the funnel and what benchmarks we should be looking at for conversion from inquiry to app to enrollment. The final piece is customized solutions, really looking at how we can enhance our product and service offerings, allowing us to bring in enrollment planning experts, academic program research, which we've beefed up significantly, as well as situation-specific consultants who can provide knowledge because they've been there and done it across the recruitment funnel. We also feel that there's an additional aspect of expansion and scale across products and data. Access. You now have access to more professionals. RNL brings a strong team with 100+ enrollment consultants from industry and 500+ employees who all contribute to the knowledge and strategic insights for our client solutions. There's a lot of flexibility to provide varying degrees of funnel management based on that program. Diversified solutions. Our acquisition also allows us to be flexible based on the challenges that clients face, allowing us more flexibility to accomplish our goals. This allows us to bring in additional services at different points if one program needs more time and attention, strategy and research, or more follow-up than others. Diversified solutions. Rounding out our services allows for strategy, research, and planning, enrollment consulting, funnel follow-up from phone calls to text messages, as well as student success solutions, making you part of one of the largest and most capable higher education companies in the business. The final aspect is enhanced research. The RNL research team has decades of experience, and the addition of Scott Jaffe to the team at Converge has 20+ years of experience in graduate, adult, and online research, from national studies presented at conferences to customized research projects. Scott's ability to pull in expertise from MC data as well as iPads provides a lot of additional industry insights that will help us to better deliver a great product. Finally, what does this mean? The following is a comprehensive view of how the Converge plus RNL solution looks. With the RNL partnership, we can now move past lead generation into the nurturing. What this includes is lead qualification, focus on yield optimization, really looking at the student journey overall, really cool tools such as texting and AI chatbot, as well as some additional tools with market research and the Digital Engagement Center. We are now able to provide a solution, full service, where we can go from inquiry to fully admitted and recruited students. So what do you know about RNL? I'm going to now pass it over to Dawn, who is going to talk a little bit further about RNL solutions.
Thanks, Anne. When we talk about RNL solutions, we're really looking at how different parts of what we do intertwine with others. So we know that just having top of the funnel resources and getting the right response rate doesn't necessarily mean success all the way through the funnel. So what we're looking at is what you see on the screen here is really a number of areas where from the very beginning of the student life cycle all the way through to fundraising and advancement, we want to make sure that we're providing a good partnership for campuses to be able to help in every one of those areas. So when I was on campus as a vice president for enrollment management, I know I was struggling with how do I make sure that I've got a comm flow for sophomores and juniors. So I'm looking at, a 2 to 3 year comm flow. What you see on the screen here is really a 40-year comm flow. From the time a student is a sophomore and junior in high school, all the way to when they become a matriculant, enroll, retain, and then a successful alum giving of their time, talents, and treasures. We have relationships with campuses that span that entire partnership. When we look at some of the partnerships that we have, the way that we engage with them, the numbers are a little bit of the proof in the pudding, so to speak. So we work right now with 1,900 campuses and nonprofits. We have 3,000 institutions that have partnered with us over the time of our history. About 300 new clients start working with us every year. So we're growing and we're evolving, continuously looking for ways to reinvest in you and your success. And the way that we're able to do some of that is by just the sheer volume that we're interacting with students and alumni. So we sent over 240 million emails last year, which means we're tracking minute details and noticing even the smallest change and maybe how we format something or where we might put a button. If that changes a response rate or an engagement level for an alumni, we're able to see that and be able to make changes in campaigns really quickly on just the sheer volume of engagement from phone calls we're having, direct mail pieces we're sending, and the like. On the financial aid side, we oversee $2 billion in institutional financial aid. So again, we're able to see when small changes are happening, we're able to adjust to that really quickly to make sure that we're helping campuses be a really good steward with the funds that they do have. Also $1 billion in philanthropic committed and $200 million raised every year just in the fundraising solutions for annual funds. So the numbers are large. We do a lot of work in a lot of different areas, but that scale is what we're able to then transfer back to campus partners with real data that we can inform campaigns on campus to make the most of their investment.
Thanks, Dawn. And as we really look at this partnership, some of the numbers that Dawn mentioned are staggering. One of the really excellent points and one of the things we feel like will add the most value to our client engagement is really looking at that complete engagement with students. And as Dawn mentioned, with over 240 million emails that are sent each year, 600 million phone calls that are made, they have their hands on the pulse of what's happening in the marketplace. We also really are proud of the expertise that they bring to the table. With over 45 years of experience serving more than 3,000 institutions, with more than 100 consultants paired with 50+ digital consultants on our team, we really feel like we have the experience working with enough insight, enough strategy to really power the best enrollment solutions in the marketplace. Great, now Dawn's going to share some information on the undergraduate students and non-traditional.
So what we're looking at on the non-traditional side are numbers that all of us really need to be paying attention to. So we have over 2 million students exclusively online on the undergraduate side. This is oftentimes a second thought to campuses. It's not really part of the priority set that they're looking at, but it really needs to be. This is a group of students that can provide some growth in institutions. Of those students, 49% of those are at 4-year, 31% are 25 or older. So the same types of recruitment efforts that you might do for an 18-year-old are obviously not going to be the same approach you're going to take for this group. 59% of them are taking part-time classes and 71% are at public institutions. So again, this is a different group than is usually on the radar. And as you'll see in the next screen, there's plenty of students out there. You can click through. that. There's 36 million students on the undergraduate side with some college but no degree. So again, I think what we see a lot of times are campuses focusing on the traditional undergraduate or the graduate student. There's really this pocket of students that's pretty substantial that could provide some lift in enrollment. But as we saw in the previous slide, it's going to take a different marketing approach to reach them based on who they are, what their motivating factors are, and how to reach them. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about just some stats that we see on the graduate side. So today's graduate students, 76% of them are 25 years old or over. 52% of them are going part-time, so half part-time, half full-time essentially. Again, about 50-50 split for four-year and private institutions, which should be good for everyone on the call, regardless of what type of institution you're at. There's a graduate population and certainly demand for that. The next section that we're going to go into, we're going to talk a little bit about what RNL does from a strategic enrollment planning standpoint. So as I mentioned in the last couple of slides, there's pockets of students that are sometimes overlooked by institutions. And sometimes that even can be the graduate program. So again, a lot of attention is often placed on how the undergraduate programs are performing on campus. Trustees spend a lot of time looking at that number. But we know that for real growth and transformation to happen on campus, the graduate program needs to be a priority, and it needs to be something that is strategic in nature, and it's part of the overall enrollment plan. This quote is from one of our partners and colleagues at Southern Utah University's Vice President for Advancement and Enrollment Management at Southern Utah. And we've gone through strategic enrollment planning with him, and this was his thought on that. RNL helped us look at enrollment management holistically, not just more students, but the right kind of students. So again, if you'll think back to that circle slide we talked about earlier, we're not just in the business of getting you more students. We want to make sure they're the right students so they retain, they graduate, and they become good alumni later. So our process for strategic enrollment planning, I could talk about this for an hour by itself, but we'll pare it down to just a couple of slides. What we're trying to do is provide a platform for campuses, and we really want all of campus to come together. This is a symbolic blending of academic and financial credibility. So we know for a strategic plan to work and not just sit on a shelf, the campus has to be engaged, there has to be academic buy-in, and it also has to make fiscal sense. So this is just a high-level overview of the phases that we go through as part of this. It generally takes about 8 months to complete, and it's really founded in research. So you'll see in phase 1 there, we want to look at KPIs, we want to look at data and research. There's things that we pull into this from a demand perspective. What are demand studies saying as far as academic program demand, cost and curriculum, what's happening on the non-matriculants? There's a lot of data that we bring in to inform this process. Again, I could talk about this for an hour by itself, but if you'll go to the next slide, I just want to show you some of the results that we had at Southern Utah University. So as a result of our collaboration with them, they saw a 22% increase in new freshmen. They saw a 17% in the deposits, and then their increase in their class from 2015 to 2017 was a 70% or 40% increase. The important thing here is that this does bring everyone together. These are the same types of things we do for graduate programs. We can do it on the graduate or the undergraduate side. But again, we're trying to build in where's the demand, how do we help you put some financials behind growth areas with some ROI, and then we want to have these types of results, and we expect these types of results for all of our campus partners, whether they're working with them on the graduate or the undergraduate side. On the program demand side, what we're looking at, and we bring in a lot of third-party data to boil it down to this intersection of where market demand, program, and competition meet. So we're trying to find that sweet spot for campuses on the academic program demand side where there's demand in the job market. So students want the jobs that are available, and so it's a relevant program. We're also looking for it to be something authentic to campus. So we're not oftentimes looking for campuses that are medical schools to get into liberal arts. I mean, it needs to be authentic and feel like it's part of who you would be naturally. What are the things that you do well? And then we're overlaying that with competition. So where are there pockets in the market where you could really own that space? And we'll also steer you away from places where we'll say, you know what, that's really crowded. For you to get the demand you need, you're going to have to invest so much more in marketing, for example, or in the faculty that you're hiring. There could be other pieces of that that would make the competition, the competitive landscape, help us steer you into different directions. The same is true on the portfolio program distribution. So we're really looking to make sure that as we're working with campuses on what their portfolio should look like, that we have it spread out a little bit. I mean, we want to make sure, if you think of this like a portfolio of your finances, you want to be diversified. So we want to make sure that we've got campuses that are in strong position for enrollment growth. You may have some niche programs. There might be times that we say, you know what, there's growth potential, but there's strong competition. As long as we're all aware of that, it still might be there's a strategic reason why we want to go into that. We just want to make sure we don't end up with any programs in the bottom right? No opportunity for enrollment growth. Those are the things we'd be steering away from. But we want to make sure that campus has visibility to what that would look like. Those of you working with Converge would know then that there's already a lot of information that you have access to from a market demand perspective because of your partnership. So what we're wanting to do through the RNL and Converge merger is to make sure that we're leveraging all of the different assets that we have from research, third-party vendors on top of what you're already getting. So this should be familiar to some of you, looking at the analysis of demand, supply dynamics, the competitive assessment, and the market and media buying. This is how then that information that we collect from all the other research gets put into an actionable strategy. What are all the things we're learning, and how do we make sure that we're using your marketing spend and your marketing buy in the best way possible to give you the highest ROI? I think that's probably a good segue, Hayley, for you to talk about generating the leads for those programs.
Great, thank you, Dawn. So as we think through lead generation strategies, we know that when it comes to shaping or increasing new student enrollment, there's typically two ways we can do that. We can either look to increase the size of your inquiry pool, or we can increase the conversion ratio as users progress throughout the funnel. Or you can look to combine both strategies, and that's where we really feel like the synergies between Converge and RNL merge. So let's start with addressing how we increase the size of your inquiry pool. As Anne mentioned and emphasized, digital lead generation has really been the core of what Converge has helped our partners with. We're continuing to evolve what we're doing in this area by staying on top of what's new and next, both with channels, media, technology, but by also driving strategy with more data, looking at insights and research when it comes to market demand, market share, what your competitors doing, analyzing your own student data. And a big component of that is really leveraging digital marketing to build awareness for your institution and programs. At this stage, we really want to focus on messaging that generates interest and awareness for your brand or specific programs. We want to look at leveraging insights and interests based on driving how we select websites to place ads on. And we also want to look at social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, but continue to evolve how we're targeting users based on some of the things that RNL can bring to the table. So honing specifically in on social media, because we know that this is where we're spending a lot of our efforts with our clients, because we know that's where people spend time. For many of our clients, we're shifting to do more carousel ads because they're a great way to build engagement, creates a more interactive experience, breaks up the monotony of the newsfeed, and you can typically advertise multiple calls to action programs and really take up more real estate on platforms like this. We've also seen a huge increase in vertical video on channels like Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. So we're starting to shift there with more of our clients. So we always suggest if you're looking at investing in video resources, keeping a pulse on this trend is going to be incredibly important.
And there's some of the audio.
Then looking at the consideration and questioning page, we know that this is a stage where prospective students are interested, and we now need to get in front of them by addressing their questions with strong messaging points that really highlight your competitive advantages. So we'll look at search engine marketing, where we're honing in on users searching specifically for your brand or program. Maybe they're searching for your competitors' similar offerings. We also want to ensure that we're retargeting users who have engaged but have not inquired yet with next step messaging on display ads, social media, but then also looking at list targeting strategies where we can really leverage the current students in your prospect and get in front of them with specific messaging as well. Honing in on the specific strategy here, from a survey Google did last summer, survey responders advised that online search was their top preferred method for evaluating schools. So it's really important that we continue to think about search engine marketing as it being a top driver for yielding qualified prospects. We know that on our end, we typically see higher lead to conversion rates when we're looking at this at a single channel perspective. So I would say if you don't have a good search engine marketing strategy in place, highly suggest prioritizing that. And then as it gets to the intent and inquiry phase, we know that in addition to leveraging digital channels to drive awareness and consideration, there are a variety of other things that we should be doing to complement our digital efforts. We just talked about search engine marketing, but having a solid SEO strategy in place is just as important to make sure that you're taking up more real estate on that search engine, and RNL brings great expertise in that area. We also want to make sure that we're ensuring your website and landing pages do a great job of engaging and converting your target audiences through being mobile optimized, having short, easy to use forms, and having really engaging content that highlights student stories and outcomes. And then you want to have a strategic inquiry communication workflow process, which Dawn will dive into next with our lead nurturing.
Thanks, Hayley. And as Hayley mentioned on the slide earlier, there's really 3 ways to shape your enrollment. As the work that you're doing with Converge builds the size of your inquiry pool, what RNL is excited to offer as the next step is how to increase those conversion rates and really nurture those leads through the funnel. So the first thing we're going to do is qualify those leads. So as a lead comes in, digital lead, it could be really any type of lead that comes in though to campus. We're able to take those leads, we're able to put them through a qualification strategy that really includes multiple channels. So we're looking at a phone call out to that student within 48 hours to find out more about when they plan to start, what are their motivating factors, if they have concerns, what are they, so we can get that back to campus and have those addressed, and what their most important factors are in making their decision on where to pursue this degree. So we're using multiple channels to find out that information. It's also, as you all know on the call, it's critical that the timing of that be really immediate. And so we have call centers all across the country where we're able to access resources on your behalf in real time, essentially, to make sure that regardless of if that happens over spring break and you have less staff people, or for a lot of our campus partners, they just can't handle the expectations students have for how quickly you're going to get back to them, we're able to provide that first step in a qualification and make sure that students, 1, know that you're very interested in them, and 2, start collecting some intelligence on them as we continue to move them through the funnel. One of the key pieces of this too is a peer-to-peer texting option. So we know that 80% of students are open to text. So as long as they're in your inquiry pool, we're going to recommend that you be reaching out to them and texting. It's personal. It's a way to engage with them. It's again in real time, so you're not waiting for an email to be crafted and sent and then that person to have time to check their email. It's much quicker as far as the back and forth engagement. But it doesn't stand alone. We use this in supplement with the phone and email communication. So what we've found is our clients who use texting, the yield rate goes up significantly as counselors and campus and RNL uses texting to continue to engage those students. The other piece that's involved in this stage, and really the following stages as well that we'll get to, is the chatbot. So we use AI to be able to basically curate a website experience for your students. So we're sending them on a guided path through your website. So it could be that they come in on the financial aid page. Based on that, we can use the chatbot to direct them and send them to other pages that we think would be helpful for them, that they would be interested in that information. In addition to that, we can train the chatbot to be able to answer questions that students have, so that it could be 3 in the morning and they can't get someone on campus, but they can ask the chatbot questions. This is also helpful if you have international students. Again, just given the time zone changes, sometimes it's nice for them to be able to get some immediate interaction on your website, even if it's 3 in the morning on campus. Through the chatbot, it's not only the website experience, but it's also tracked through Facebook Messenger. So there's a lot of great engagement there. After we're able to collect the attitudinal data, we're able to then score out your entire inquiry pool. So we're able to give students a score based on where we think you should be investing your resources. So these would be students that are very interested in attending, and we think their likelihood to enroll is very high. For those students, we would say these are students that should be receiving high-touch materials. They are engaged. They are your most likely to enroll students. And then there's the moderate, and I would say even low engagement, where we could say, you know what, we've talked to the student, given what we learned about them, I wouldn't be sending them direct mail. I wouldn't be investing counselor time. Keep them on the email communication flow, but unless they get scored in a higher rate, we can focus on other students that still might be on the fence and still be able to influence their decision. The last piece of that on the grading is that we can then also just look at the overall health of your inquiry pool, so that if we see that year over year, your inquiry pool numbers may look exactly the same, but the health of your inquiry pool is different, we can either dial up or down your ad spend and generate more of those good inquiries for you to make sure you're going to hit your numbers at the end. After we've done that, we're going to move the student into an application campaign where we're going to drive them to fill out applications. And again, here it's not just about getting you more students, it's the right students. So we're looking for actionable applications. We're not just trying to get you more applications that's going to candidly oftentimes overwhelm your staff. We want to make sure that we're only driving applicants from people who are well qualified and would be good fits at your institution. So again, we're able to update some attitudinal information. We're able to use multiple channels to do this: the phone, email, direct mail, chatbot, digital ads, peer-to-peer texting, all of that. But what's really great about adding on at this stage for yield is, in fact, a visual caller ID component, where we're able to take your essentially a digital ad, but it's going to come in through a phone call. And the screen is going to be completely consumed with your brand and your call to action. So as we look at how we could show this, if you want to go to the next slide, we have an example of what that looks like. So it pings the student just like a call would, but you can have your brand on there, and then below the number, a call to action. So we could say there, for example, for someone who started the application but hasn't finished it yet, we can say, thanks so much in this example for starting your application to Austin College. We would love to hear, would love for you to finish that application. Let us know if you have questions. There's a lot of things you could put there. We want to keep the call to action pretty succinct, but again, it's a little bit like a digital ad, and then it's going to be on their phone. It's going to be targeted messaging to them, and it's going to ping them just like a call would. What we've found with the visual caller ID is the people who are answering these calls are actually scoring out in your highest group in likelihood to enroll. So this is a great, again, kind of overlay to phone calls beyond just calling them, where students who are actually really seriously interested in your institution are going to engage in this type of a call when they can see why you're calling, they know why you're calling, and they can pick up the phone. And I think it's a good segue to get into how do we measure all of this.
Great, thank you, Dawn. So as we look at measuring impact and optimizing outcomes, what we really want to hone in on is it's not always about last channel attribution. As a marketer, I know to shift away from thinking that way has been hard. We're reviewing data with our clients, and we're looking at different things like, hey, Google search, we're seeing great conversion rates and a really low cost per lead on Facebook. Let's focus all of our budget there. But it's important to know that no channel works in a vacuum. It's very similar to buying a car or planning a vacation. We'll look at the vacation example just because summer is right around the corner. When you're planning a vacation, you're doing a number of different things. You might look at your PTO, your calendar, maybe your bank account. You might then search destinations based on time of the year, refer to a listicle maybe you saved on Facebook about trending cities. You might look at hotel deals. You might look at events. You might consider inviting your family or friends. So now you're looking at Airbnbs. Then you might look at flight options. There's a lot of things that go into that. And we know that at the end of the process, you might go directly to delta.com and book a flight. But do you feel like delta.com was the sole reason that you decided to book that? So you're never just looking at one channel, and it's very similar to the student journey. On average, a student engages in about 27 different digital activities throughout their enrollment journey. You can see here that for this example, someone sees a YouTube ad on degrees required for a brand management job, but that person doesn't inquire at that point. They're then retargeted with a banner ad, but don't click on it. You then decide, hey, let me do some of my own research. Let me look at best MBA programs, and then we click on an ad for an institution. You then come back and search specifically for that institution's MBA program. You decide to inquire, and now you're going through an email workflow and are marketed with event ads and other reminders. And this is just showcasing 9 of the average 27 touch points, keeping in mind that users are probably doing a lot more research that you don't know of as well. So how do we measure all of the digital marketing data to better tell a story and improve ROI throughout the funnel? At Converge, we've developed a real-time dashboard that integrates with your digital advertising channels and provides insights into all the important KPIs for measuring success. And now we're continuing to evolve that by rolling out a new solution where we're connecting the dots by connecting to our client CRM. So we'll be pulling attributes and data that align with our campaigns, but that also align with what you're seeing on the back end and how users are moving throughout and progressing throughout the funnel. What this does is it gives you more visibility into the student journey, how our campaigns are impacting overall application and enrollment, but also gives our team visibility into optimizing based on those KPIs as well. So we're really excited to be moving this out of beta and rolling out this to more of our clients.
Excellent. Thank you, Hayley. Thank you, Dawn. So as you can see with the expanded service set, we feel that Converge plus RNL are now positioned to provide the most comprehensive, data-driven, and measurement-focused enrollment solutions in the world of higher ed marketing. We'd love to connect with you to discuss where you're having the largest challenges and what we might do to address those. We've had a number of clients who have already called us to ask about the application yield piece, as well as the texting and the phone calls, because they feel like they don't have those resources in-house to be able to do those things. So we'd love to have any of those extended conversations. You can also meet up with us at the 2019 RNL National Conference. This year it's July 24th through the 26th in Nashville, Tennessee. It's an incredibly comprehensive conference with over 150 sessions that are focused on everything from comprehensive enrollment management to research, student success, fundraising management, as well as strategic planning. It's a great place to see and meet some of the partners and be able to dig further into our services. At this point in time, I would be happy to answer any questions and to facilitate the Q&A process. Dawn, let's start with you. How long does the enrollment planning process take?
So typically it's about an eight-month process. We have an advisor, someone who's assigned just to your campus who is going to work through this with you. So we've got, think of it as a Sherpa. You've got somebody to guide you through this process. They're on campus once a month and usually for 2 days. We don't want to do all the work ourselves. We feel like campus needs to have some skin in this. Again, our goal is that this is not a document that just goes up on a shelf and sits there. So as your consultant comes to campus every month, there's also work that's being done in between those sessions. Depending on the number of programs that are in the graduate program, it could be done sooner than 8 months or longer, just again, depending on the number of programs.
Thank you so much.
I would say we are getting a few questions in, but feel free to type any in. We'll continue to answer them as we receive them. One question is, I'm a current Converge client. What does this mean for me?
Yeah, this is Anna, and I'd be happy to answer that question. So what that will mean for you is business as usual. In the acquisition process, there were no employees that were let go. Every employee on our team is valuable and a really important part of our partnership moving forward. So you will see limited to no changes in your current account structure in relation to your CSD, your digital strategist, your team. What it does mean for you is that as Converge continues to grow, there's additional product offerings. There's a product team that will be working to shore up even more quickly our digital products, focusing on new and next. And there's a really strong thought leadership community full of financial aid consultants, enrollment consultants, recruitment strategists, and a number of people who have really deep data sources. So would encourage you to think through questions that you have and how we might be able to provide even more value in our conversations as we move further into our relationship.
Great, thank you. Another question we have is is the full funnel reporting solution being rolled out to all clients? Right now we're offering it to all clients, but it is kind of a next step from our current standard dashboard reporting. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that needs to be done to integrate with CRMs, but we're working closely with Slate, Salesforce, a few others to figure out how we best scale and streamline that so that it can be more of our core offering. Dawn, question for you. Does RNL lead nurturing services work with any CRM?
Yes, so we have, you can imagine with the number of campuses that we work with, there's not a CRM out there that we aren't compatible with. So there's a lot of ways that we make sure that the data integration is seamless and really easy for campuses. But yes, from the retargeting for someone who starts the application but doesn't finish it, you know, we might send them a text where we might retarget them digitally. There's a lot of ways we can do that. All of those points of outreach are tracked then back into your CRM if you'd like them to be, so that you can see who's engaging, how many times we've reached out, things like that.
Great, thanks. Another one we have is that I'm running search name digital campaigns with RNL and then other digital with Converge. Will this all be consolidated into one effort? Great question. Right now we have a few clients in that same scenario where we are working to figure out how we can better merge those services. Right now Converge really focuses on more larger prospecting by targeting users based on behaviors and interests, where RNL solution is specific to name by. So there is definitely a differentiator, but we know it's going to be extremely important that there's consistency. So what we're doing is identifying those clients and ensuring that we're identifying those synergies and working together on those accounts. Great question. We'll have one more. How could our current campus communication flows work with RNL outreach? Dawn, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so this is a common question that we get from people who are saying, I'm already sending emails to my inquiries, or I'm already having people call. And so how do we make sure like this is seamless and that this doesn't seem disjointed with the complo that we're doing? So a couple of ways we could look at this. Some campuses will just say, we're going to turn off essentially our complo for 8 weeks while you deploy this campaign. Others will say, we're just not going to do that. We're going to outsource this essentially to RNL, and you give us the applications at the end. So there's a huge span in how we're able to work with campuses, and the scale is everything from we just supplement on top of what you're doing to we actually will completely take over that section of the funnel and work those leads, the inquiries, the applicants at any stage for you. So I feel like we're a good option in that for campuses that maybe worked with OPMs before or had other experiences, we're able to take over the responsibility for those areas, but not in a way where you're kind of cut out. We're still really transparent. It's a fee-for-service model. There's a lot of benefits, I think, that we offer in that space, but we're definitely scalable up or down.
Thank you. And we have one last one. Can you tell us a little bit more about the SEO services RNL offers? I'll try to take that one down because I have been part of many conversations with clients recently. But what RNL offers is really kind of a comprehensive solution where we're looking at a technical audit to assess where are we missing very technical items like meta descriptions, addressing duplicate content, really honing in on the back end of the website. We're doing keyword research so we know where we want to prioritize our efforts. And then we're doing strategic content development when it comes to your academic program pages, but also influencing what you might want to do on an ongoing strategy, content strategy solution. And then something that they offer that we know that so many of our clients have asked about is ongoing monitoring, optimization, consulting, and reporting on SEO metrics as well. Anything I missed on?
No, I think that's great, Hayley.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add to that is the ongoing content development, where I think that a number of clients will want to see ongoing content that's created utilizing that strategy. And that is something that an RNL Converge solution is able to do as well.
Great. That are all the questions we have.
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for joining our conversation today. We'd love to talk about digital transformation and how we can move past the point of inquiry to enrollment with combined services. You're welcome to email us at info@convergeconsulting.org with any questions, or pop onto our website and see the RNL or Converge website contact us forms. Again, thank you so much, John and Hayley, for your participation in our webinar, and I hope that everyone has a lovely day.